planet's first power. I mean, this is all about choice, right? We know that we're born with the birth chart, and we all have different philosophies around whether we chose it, whether it was fate, all these types of things. But when you work with planets first, you are choosing a part of yourself. So it's a very active thing. And for some of us who maybe have felt like we were sort of stuck in a certain framework, this is a way to sort of shake this a little bit. Just a little bit about astrology, cycles, and acceptance. This is just some of the, I guess, the bits that underlie this for me. So musician Chris Cornell from Soundgarden, he was a Cancer. He was born on my birthday, so I have an affinity with him and his music. But he wrote songs specifically about the moon, which is perfect for a Cancer. And he talked about humans creating these confined labyrinths and then living inside these labyrinths. And then whatever we create or thought was real, if it doesn't work, then we translate that to meaning that we don't work. So, you know, if this sort of paradigm I've constructed for myself doesn't work, well, then I don't work. And it's really easy for us to get stuck in one perspective. And for me, the planets each represent a function of our psyche. And most of us have like a go-to planet or two where we tend to like, that's the one that we tend to lead with first. And sometimes that can get stuck. And if we just move to a different part, we have a whole new view. But back to the moon here. The moon is the ultimate symbol of accepting the end of something we thought defined us. And the moon, we know, is so attached to history. And just like she goes through her phases, waxing and waning every month. So what I'm really getting down here is cycles and changes and accepting them. Not just accepting them, but initiating and choosing them through this technique. Astrology can lead us out of the maze and these traps that we keep ourselves in. And you never know which planet is going to be the best guide for you in that particular moment until you get to know them. And so, I mean, if you could see my little office here, I have so many books that like they're piled on the floor and on the tables. And I've studied with so many different teachers, and I respect so many different astrologers and philosophers. So this is not to say not to do that, but until we start to actually spend time with the archetypes and let them arise in ourselves, we're missing a big part of the equation or a big part of the understanding. So planets first for me is one way of opening that door for, hey, Venus, show me how you are in me, not just how I've learned about you everywhere else. A little bit more about astrology and life's purpose. Viktor Frankl, in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he wrote, when we have nothing more to expect from life, life is still expecting something of us. And he believed that meaning is what keeps us going. And he worked with many patients, helping them rediscover a reason to live. So we all have a birth chart. To me, just the fact that we have that birth chart suggests that we have purpose. And astrology can help us find meaning in so many things. And one thing about evolutionary astrology is very much about looking to the meaning of things. And not just to diagnosing things, as Stephen Forrest says, but to actually prescribing, offering something to go beyond where we are. And our evolution isn't just meaningful to us, it's meaningful to the whole planet. And astrology is such a great tool for helping us understand that. Okay, planets on the first. So back to this idea that each planet representing a part of the human psyche. If we choose one as a lens or filter to experience life through, that helps us be more of who we are, just from a different perspective. Now, technically, we just move the chosen planet. Let's just stay with Venus here. Let's say we decide that we want to live Venus first. And I'm going to get into this a little bit more, but for me, from a more therapeutic angle, like if I myself or someone that I am supporting is really struggling with self-love, self-worth, maybe life has been very complicated, maybe they have overcomplicated things, maybe there's been a lot of trauma and drama, and I really need to calm down. This is an example of where choosing Venus first can be so good, right? It's like choosing the planet that helps you go the direction that is the medicine that you need right now. So technically, in this case, we would rotate Venus to the Ascendant, which moves the entire zodiac, and it makes that planet the gateway into the birth chart. It basically partners it up there with the Ascendant. So I use planets first, and I call it, a living meditation. This is what it is for me. It's an astrological living meditation to learn more about myself, create more options, make better choices, and just really to live more consciously and more fully. You know, this is like Planets First is an invitation to more fully engage who and what you are. So my intention in choosing any Planet First is powerful. It's powerful because I have the courage to see myself in a different view and from a different view. And maybe with simply this, the form of me is different. Not because I change, but because from here in quotes being the new space that I'm looking from or through, the space I occupy appears to fill differently, and I appear differently. So somehow these parts of me that don't change, they coalesce differently from each view. So for me, it's this excitement that there's never one version. There's so much more. And if I move a little bit, the whole thing changes without changing at all at the same time. And I think most of you get what I mean by that.